It is primary season, and we are amidst a May 8th primary, and we're going to continue on with the Community Programming Initiative. Let's move on. The Commissioner's race in the 2nd District, that is, goes from county line to state line, mostly on the south part of this county, and running in that district. And it'll be, 16 years now he's been the incumbent. 15 years now he's been the incumbent in that district, and that is Gerry Scheub. Gerry, thanks for coming on today.
My pleasure. Thank you.
It's it's the first time you've been on here with me, so let's go through a little bit of your background before we start talking about any of the issues, by the way. First of all, you coached my cousin Dwayne at 8th grade at St. Michael's in Schererville for a long time, and if any of the gravelly voice that you've developed over the years, it was pretty much developed on the sidelines, if I remember correctly.
Absolutely.
And I can tell you this. I remember one time hearing you, and I know you didn't do it very often, but one time you just laid into my cousin Dwayne, and you said a word, and my mom said, "No, you heard it incorrectly because Coach Scheub would never say that."
Well, I had 23 years at St. Michael's and 8 years at Andrean, so it was the greatest time of my life coaching football. It was awesome.
Where'd you grow up?
Tolliston, Gary, Indiana.
And your high school's not there anymore.
Well, it's still there, but it's now a Boys and Girls Club, which is great. It's not abandoned.
It's not abandoned, you're right, like some of the high schools in Gary are. Right. And you went to Tolliston, and then what happens when you come out of Tolliston?
Well, I went into the apprenticeship bricklayer, and then I went into construction with Copper's Construction. Then I ended up in sales for 35 years. Construction
and then sales. When did you start running for elected office?
I think I was about 40 years old, 36, somewhere right around there.
And what was your first office?
St. John Township trustee for 20 years.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yes.
And that was a trustee for 20 years, and then you went on and got elected as commissioner from there.
Right.
And you've been there for 15 years.
Right.
And just so everybody knows, the commissioner does what in Lake County?
Well, the commissioner's executive, and we're in charge of all the buildings, contracts, claims, roads in the unincorporated area, drainage, bridges, 185 bridges, 600 miles of legal drains, 542 miles of roads in the unincorporated areas, all the insurance, all the buildings, all the furniture, all the vehicles. There isn't anything that the county commissioners don't have a hand in the operation of county government and the ownership of everything.
Who's to your right here?
Pardon?
Who's to your right?
That's Sheriff Buncich. I just brought him along to make sure I don't say things that might be construed as not clear.
How you doing, Sheriff?
Good. How are you, Judge? Good to see you again.
Since it's not your show, I won't call you old sausage fingers.
Okay,
is that okay?
It's a deal.
I'm sure people are bringing that up to you, and I'm glad they are.
Every day now.
Every day now. That's excellent. Sheriff Buncich is here also. Both guys Democrats. You guys known each other a long time?
Oh, my gosh.
Going back to the old Tolliston days, the families in Tolliston. So many, many years ago on the west side of Gary.
Why is Gerry Scheub a good commissioner?
I've gone. I thought about coming on the show this morning, and on the way here, I said how long I've known Gerry, and the fact is that we've worked well together in government during my previous tenure as sheriff, and now this time, like Gerry said, the commissioners are the executive branch of county government, and hold the contracts, approve all the contracts. They control all the buildings, all the property, and everything in county government. And when I came on board this last time, some 16 months ago, we just walked into a real mess. And this thing it took the cooperation of everybody, the council, the commissioners, with the sheriff, and I can't say enough about what Gerry's done. And I'm here to support what Gerry's doing, and I'd like to just point out some facts about what's going on in county government. Gerry has been a loyal public servant and out there all the time. And that's the way public servants should be. You've heard me say that many times on my show, that you have to be out there serving the public day in and day out. And when there's things that are being said about this gentleman next to me, I just felt I had to correct some of these issues. And, some of these campaigns, I've been involved in a lot of dirty campaigns, a lot of rough campaigns, and with individuals that really don't want to say too much about what the truth is all about. But, we're talking about taxpayers' dollars. And these taxpayers right now are facing, just quickly, and I'll let Jerry carry into this, but we're facing a settlement of a lawsuit right now at that jail that's going to cost the taxpayers in excess of $9.5 million with bonding, with settlement fees, with attorney fees, and everything. And that's just a little bit the tip of the iceberg.
Okay, so let's just clarify,
Sure.
people, and I think the people that are kind of in the know of politics and so forth understand that a lot of that was done under the sheriff who was previous to you, and that would have been who Jerry's running
You got
against.
Jerry's opponent, correct. And he fails, his opponent continuously fails to talk anything about his 8 years that he served as my predecessor as the sheriff of Lake County, Indiana. There are lawsuits. This one lawsuit right now they want to settle it for $6.9 million. They're talking about floating an $8 million bond to pay for it. On top of that, the interest to pay the bond for 5 years is another $1 million. On top of that is another $500,000 in legal fees that the county has been forced to pay. So you're looking at almost $10 million, all right? And as a direct result of that lawsuit, we're under a federal watch right now.
We are talking, that's Sheriff John Buncich. He's here in support of Gerry Scheub, who's running in the 2nd District Commissioner's race on the southern end of the county. Jerry, there's been a lot going on, and you and I have talked privately, and those are private conversations,
right,
by the way, and I understand that, but I don't think it's relating any secrets that this has been a little bumpier than perhaps some of the primaries in the past. To you, what's been the most challenging thing in the past couple of months?
Well, just being quiet and running my campaign on what I've accomplished, but there's so many false statements out there that I just decided that I had to respond because people are concerned about Lake County and transparency, and that's something I've given tremendously over the years. I'm in the office at 7:30. My door is always open. All our meetings, all our contracts are legal. I've never been involved in illegal contracts. And the one illegal contract, or not illegal contract, but no bid contract, was the medical contract in 2007. And I'm going to give this to you just so you can read it sometime. That contract, and that's the minutes of the meeting where I stood up to the sheriff, my opponent, and says, we can't do this. We have to put it out for bid. And he said, no, we have to do it right now. And I said, well, they gave us 140-day notice, and now you come in 100 days later and jam this medical contract down our throats. The commissioners have not had a chance to review it. We haven't had a chance to put RFPs and go out for proposals. But that no-bid contract, it was his no-bid contract, not mine, and he steers that around on me all the time. So
if we could just circle back on that, yesterday I did have the former sheriff,
right,
Dominguez,
and that's why I'm
Dominguez in here talking
today
about this, and he was saying that, making, I guess, some allegations that you and the other two commissioners had put out for no-bid contracts. Just to circle around, you're saying that the only no-bid contract that you're aware of is when he was sheriff, and that had to do with the medical contract, which evidently became quite contentious over time.
Right. There's service contracts, there's proposals, and there's RFPs for regular big contracts. If it's under $75,000, you can go with a proposal, pick 3 companies, and go out for bid. But every contract that is mandated by the state has never been violated by the commissioner since I've been in office, and that's what I got to defend myself on. And then the other thing is transparency. I've been so transparent, it's unbelievable. The commissary fund, they got cited in the county, in the state audit, for not following procedures in the commissary fund, and they had misspending there. And talk about transparency. For 7 years, you're supposed to have a report to the county council every January and July of the commissary fund. My opponent for 7 years never turned in, and after repeated requests by the county council, never turned in any reports. When the sheriff took over, they found 42 fraudulent checks. Nothing was balanced, and that's what he calls transparency. He had no transparency.
Okay, let's recircle on this, and you guys well know these topics, but there's people that don't know anything what we're talking about. And Sheriff, can you simplify this?
Yeah, the law clearly states the sheriff has a commissary where the goods are provided to the inmates. Confectionery, medical supplies, and other different types of things, hygienic products and that sort of thing. It generates about $1 million worth of business a year. State law clearly indicates that every 6 months, January 1 and July 1, a report is to be filed, returned over to the county commissioners and county council by the sheriff, stating all income, all expenditures of that fund. 8 years in office, my predecessor only filed 2 reports. There should have been 16. He filed 2 with the commissioners and the council. That's in clear violation. He was cited by the State Board of Accounts. Let's talk about that. Let's talk. You talk about transparency. He just put a flyer